Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Shadows of the New Sun, Stories in Honor of Gene Wolfe, edited by J.E. Mooney and Bill Fawcett, performed by MacLeod Andrews and Amy McFadden. Forward. Gene Wolfe got it wrong. Completely, utterly wrong. I met Gene a decade ago when the World Horror Convention was held in Chicago, and he and Neil Gaiman were guests of honor. I was on a tight deadline, and so allowed myself only one day at the convention. I picked Friday because I wanted to attend a writing panel Gene was hosting. I'd read, and loved, some of his novels, and Chicago was only an hour away. His session was in one of the hotel's ballrooms, and there was a sizable crowd. I picked a spot toward the back and pulled out my notebook. Gene was seated behind a skirted table on a platform, and he looked to be analyzing his audience, bringing to mind the image of a judge holding sway over a courtroom. He said that he wanted to know where we were, the audience, in terms of writing, so he could better offer advice. To that end, he asked everyone who had submitted fiction to a professional market to raise a hand. Well, more than a few hands went up. He decided to define it further. How many of you have had short stories published? Some of the hands went down. How many of you have written novels? Only 3 hands remained. More than one novel? At this point, my hand was the only one up. He stabbed his finger in the air in my direction. How many novels have you written? He asked. Half dozen or so, I replied. You? He stabbed the air again. You! Why are you here? I was thoroughly intimidated and regretted not picking another panel to attend. I thought you could teach me something, I told him. You? He turned the finger so it was like a hook, and he waggled it at me. You? Up here with me. There is nothing I can teach you. He proceeded to call it the Gene and Gene Show, and I spent the next hour sharing his panel, remaining thoroughly intimidated, but having a fine time. We ran into each other again at various conventions, WindyCon, World Fantasy, and the like. Always, he remembered our chance encounter at World Horror in Chicago. Later, we'd get together with mutual friends Bill Fawcett and Jody Lynn Nye for dinners. And still later, Gene and I would meet for lunches. Sometimes for no particular reason, sometimes so he could pass over his...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?